Hey guys, how you doing? This is the Jada UAS Park Hill team here again, and if everybody could close their eyes, I'd like to paint a picture for you guys as to exactly what a problem statement is. So it's hot out. You're stationed in Iraq and you have a family at home. You've got a wife and 2 kids, and right now you're currently on watch duty at your base. And faintly you hear the sound of something, some propellers, a helicopter, you're not sure what it is. You look up and you spot a drone. And immediately you start sweating. You realize that not only is your life in danger, but everybody that is in your base's life is in danger too. And it just so happens that you're the one who's on duty right now, and you have to take care of this. So immediately you understand the risks and the dangers that this drone presents, and you fumble for your gun. And as you look up and you aim at the drone, you're wondering in your mind, how am I supposed to shoot this down? There has to be some other technology, some other device I can use that can take this out, because right now I'm fumbling for my trigger and I don't know how I'm going to take it out. Okay.
So for a weekly customer discovery summary table, some of the hypotheses that we focused on this week was mainly focused towards the actual soldiers, so the actual end user who's going to use this. But we really wanted to try to narrow in on what their type of workflow would look like, and who would be in charge of making those decisions if it came down to that. So some of the hypotheses that we came up with were any soldier can actually use a potential counter-drone solution to take down drones. So this is something that we're still pending, and we're trying to talk to generals and to see if the actual general has to make that decision or if it's an actual soldier. Another one was soldiers are using friendly drones in the battlefield to gather information. This was more towards to see if soldiers are actually using drones. And then hard kill methods are better than soft kill. This was something that we got feedback on from last week. And this is something that we actually accepted, and it was that soft kill methods are not effective because they can be easily countered. So drone technology is very smart. So any soft kill method that's been attempted so far hasn't been able to work. And then computer imaging, this is something that we're still talking to our sponsor about. He was really interested in it. And then frequency jamming technology could be a potential solution as well. And then so for customer discovery methods for next week, we still want to try to focus on talking to more military people. So we've emailed our sponsor, and he's giving us a lot of military contacts that we can talk to. And in addition to that, our other goal is to actually try to detect drones, because we don't really understand yet how drones are being detected. We understand like how they're being taken down and handled, but not necessarily how they're detected. And then we also have done a lot of personal research. So one of the things that we're doing is looking up counter drone companies and then trying to find people that on LinkedIn that actually work there to get more contacts.
All right. So we believe that in order to provide a product of value, it's essential to know your customer. So on the right of our value proposition canvas, we have the profile of who's going to be using this, the end user, which is actually the soldier on the ground. And we have down here for the jobs, it's probably going to be an unmanned aircraft system operator, some kind of law enforcement officer or commander in the military. And we've also detailed like the pains, basically all the problems they're having. This is basically our problem statement. So down here you can see there's a lack of soldier protection against drones, detailing what would happen, the scenario you just painted, and the gains they're hoping to gain from our solution. And to the left, this details like the profile of our products that we're planning, we're developing. So basically, we know we were trying to develop a minimum viable product, and some of the keys are it has to be low cost, and it has to be designed in a civilian-friendly manner, and it has to be able to be launched in different environments, because we're trying to attack this problem from the worst-case scenario, because most people always look at the best-case scenario.
So this is our mission model canvas, and this week we focused on connecting our beneficiaries to our value propositions. So an unmanned aircraft systems operator, they're going to want to find an approach to target and destroy drones. Soldiers in battle, they want to reduce the enemy drones that are targeting them. And then we have commanders in the military, fighter pilots, they want to increase drone detection so that this can be dealt with. We would like to further develop the value propositions that are going to correspond with each of these beneficiaries because we know a little bit about what they're looking for, but we really want to develop that understanding of what is going to be of value to them in this product. And along with that, this is our customer archetype. So we have an unmanned aircraft system operator. Going to be male or female, enlisted, 23 to 24. Going to be very physically fit, tech savvy, trained, and very skilled as well. So we have some really great people that are going to be working with this kind of problem. But one of our main missions for this week is to get to know this customer because we have not been able to fully connect with these customers in the field. So we are looking to really focus on developing this further.
All right, so for our customer workflow, we're first going to start out saying that it's a soldier, but this has not been determined. The end user could be a commander, somebody else in the force. And so basically, if you're a soldier, we want to know when the enemy drone is detected, what is your environment like? We need to analyze the situation. Is it immediate? Is it an emergency? Can we have a standard solution? Can we notify somebody on the ground that has maybe possibly developed a soft kill that can maybe soft kill it somehow? Then we make that decision. If it is an emergency, we need to know quickly, is it a hard kill, soft kill, or is there something other that we can come up with? And then lastly, for our MVP, we've kind of been experimenting on the idea of swarms of mini drones. So the pains and gains of this kind of vary. The gains are definitely speed and low altitude intelligence, self-healing. So basically, when you have swarms of mini drones, it can be small or large, sometimes 20 to 30 or 70 to 80, and they're so small that it'd be really quick to make these drones, and it'd be low in cost and low on technology, and basically they kind of act as like a swarm of, or herd of birds. They're not pre-programmed. They program to themselves as a pack. They are collective organisms. They operate, they can be launched from the sea, land, air. Their power in numbers. They can do surveillance. If one leader, there's never really a leader. If one of those leaders gets taken out, they regroup and they go towards the next mission. They take out that mission and then they move on to the next mission. So I've done a little bit of research on specifically types of softwares and how this has worked out. And so we're kind of just adapting and trying to find more research based on swarms of drones.
That's your time. Thank you.
Okay. All right, feedback.
Yeah. From the opening story, the operator sees the drone, but part of the problem you're facing is detection. Bridge that gap for me.
What was the question again? Sorry.
I'm just wondering, in your opening, like, imagine this scenario, you had this soldier who could see the drone, right? But part of your problem with any of these solutions is that you might not be able to see the drone. I'm not hearing that part of the problem being addressed in what you said so far.
That was actually one of the things that we're actually trying to do next week is that, because according to the problem from respondents, we don't really know and understand yet how we're going to do the drone detection and what components the actual sponsor is looking for in terms of like a potential solution for detection. Like, do they want the automated detection by like a kilometer away? Is it like automatic or is it soldier based? Like, so we're trying to get more information on that.
Is it possible to make assumptions and go from there? So you can assume, like, assuming they want this, then move forward. And if they're not giving you the parameter space to work from, eventually you're going to have to make your own, right? So you might be able to say, we're going to go with this and move forward, and then make the pivot once you get feedback on that.
All right, so you can just assume that your scenario is correct.
Yeah.
And that the soldier on guard point has identified the drone and wants to take it out. And so the whole acquisition piece is assumed away until you get more information.
Can we go to the pains and gains slide too? So if remember back to the text where we read that like a good pains and gains list would be like a board covered with Post-it notes, and then these things are going to be ranked. So neither of those two things are coming through for me. Like I want to see more, and I think your forum here might be slowing you down a little bit. You know, so maybe put it somewhere else first, and then transition here so that that's not slowing you down. And then some idea of ranking, like is it what of these is really important to people versus just kind of tangential to what's going on?
Building off of that, your customer jobs are not jobs, they're job titles, right? So not what is their title, you want to put, what do they do?
Could you give me an example, because that was actually something we had revised and we weren't sure what we were looking for.
Instead of soldiers or law enforcement, they need to be patrolling, they need to be surveying, they're
The guy on the guard, in the guard tower.
Yeah. What does that person do?
What are they?
So.
It's like a verb, yeah.
Reconnaissance would be.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you go to the archetype slide?
And actually, I just want to say one more, as you to build on that, this is actually true feedback for most of the teams.
Yeah.
So we're being really specific to you all about this, but this pains and gains and stuff, that, many of your slides are lacking in this area.
Go to the archetype slide. Okay, now, tell me who you described in your opening scenario.
Not him.
Not this guy. Because you're talking about taking down a drone, right? That's what your mission statement is, and your archetype that's described here is a drone operator.
Yeah.
So I think they're two different things.
Yeah.
And so that was one point. Full stop. The next point is, did you guys watch the Super Bowl? When Lady Gaga was singing, all those drones that were, all those things that were moving around up there, there was 1,000 drones in the sky. They're made by Intel. They're commercially available, so that, to your last point there when we cut you off, that I didn't see Intel listed as one of your folks, but
Thank you.
they may be able to repurpose that, what is meant as an entertainment system, into some sort of dual use.
Thank you.
Something I'd be interested to, I want to say that I like that your MVP changed.
I do too.
I'd be curious as to what led that, and I think we're not out of time for feedback, but I want to talk to you about why you made that switch.
I like this.
Good.
Great job, guys. 1, 2, 3.